they know President Trump and they know he only works with the interests of the American public in mind. The legal details of that are still being worked out, ripped off by very large and rich pharmaceutical companies.
Let's watch a few clips of Carolyn Leavitt, Trump's press secretary, on Fox News, covering an array of Trump goals and agendas and news as if to say that he's doing good. So if you can, take a moment, leave us a like. We much appreciate it. It helps the video out, gives us a big boost in the algorithm, and let's get right to the discourse.
The White House at 9 o'clock will be signing one of the most consequential executive orders ever. They will be reducing pharmaceuticals by about 80%. Essentially, we are going to pay less than the country that's paying the least for pharmaceuticals from here on in. How does that work?
First of all, it cannot be overstated how big of a deal this executive order that President Trump will be signing in a couple of hours is for American families, and especially our seniors who have been ripped off by very large and rich pharmaceutical companies. The United States of America is less than 5% of the world's population, yet we purchase 75% of Big Pharma's profits. We pay an astronomical amount in comparison to other countries around the world. So the president is signing an executive order today that is going to implement most favored nations drug pricing, and is going to reduce the cost of drugs in this country by more than half at least.
This is something for me that I watched for all of 5 seconds and it didn't pass the basic sniff test, and for anyone shouldn't pass the basic sniff test of truth for many reasons. The first one being no one could give like a coherent set of numbers. They all said different ones. Kilmeade said 80%. She said 50%. Trump's post says a range of 30 to 80. So it's like a huge scale of what would it be, and why wouldn't you know if you're the ones administering it? Also, when you look into the executive order, you see pretty quickly no specifics are given on how this is to be achieved. It's pretty clearly just like a get it done kind of, which is because this is complex. It's something that would almost definitely take legislation to achieve, which Trump seems to think executive orders are, but they aren't. He is doing things for optics at this point to say, hey, we're going to do this thing, because he knows he never has to follow through and do it. MAGA will still just pretend he did. And I mean, in the current system, right, it would take government subsidy to cover the difference in cost for these medicines. That would be legitimately the only way. The other way would be to tackle this by ridding of private insurance, or at least pulling from their power to negotiate and leaving it completely with the government, to pull from the monopoly Big Pharma has in America, from us having multiple buyers, which doesn't exist in the other countries which use a single payer format.
The Qatari government has graciously offered to donate a plane to the Department of Defense. The legal details of that are still being worked out, but of course, any donation to this government is always done in full compliance with the law, and we commit ourselves to the utmost transparency, and we will continue to do that.
Do you worry that if they give us something like this, they want something in return?
Absolutely not, because they know President Trump and they know he only works with the interests of the American public in mind.
I love how her defense of Trump, the most easily manipulated and transactional president that we've ever had in history, is, well, he isn't going to fall for a bribe. I mean, this is the man who gave RFK a position he has no qualifications for because he dropped out to endorse him. Merit, by the way. Or Elon, a position that he went on to show us that he was far too incompetent for by failing by over 99% of his goal, all because he gave Trump $250 million to win the election. Or allowing Miriam Adelson to pick multiple cabinet members because she gave him $100 million. I mean, the list goes on. He literally told oil executives to raise him $1 billion and he'll let them write energy policy. And given the nature of Trump, it's a smart bribe, right? Because it will almost definitely work.
Is there another deal queued up, ready to go today before you leave?
Well, look, we told you the next 100 days would consist of peace deals and trade deals, and that's exactly what we have seen. The president announced last week the big trade deal with the UK, as you mentioned. Now we have a first deal with China. Just yesterday, the president announced the release of the last remaining American hostage in Gaza, Eden Alexander, who will soon be united with his loving family. God bless him. That's thanks to President Trump. We also negotiated a ceasefire with the Houthis.
This is funny because, and I wrote about this on my Substack if you want to read it, the link is the first one in the description. Israel has been relentlessly just breaking the ceasefire. Netanyahu is also openly stating plans to just take the West Bank now, and Trump is ignoring it. Russia is like walking back the ceasefire talks with Ukraine on their end. They're looking like they're not going to uphold the things they've already agreed to, and Trump isn't threatening them. Nothing is, no mechanisms are being put in place to keep them to hold to it. He's negotiating deals that literally just bring us back to the place we were before the tariffs. He's negotiating peace deals that he doesn't put any effort to uphold. So like, it's literally all for nothing, all for optics essentially at this point, just so he can claim victory for cleaning his own messes. And yet they're still trying to sell this shit show as gold. I mean, it's almost impressive.